Hello and welcome back to another video. This is another episode of this week's watches, and what an incredible drop I have for you again this week. I know I say it every week, but there really is some great pieces in here and really varied as well, which is what we always try and do for you guys and girls. Now, I have been listening. You guys and girls have been missing the vintage because there's not been as much, so I'm doing my best to make sure I've got more vintage incoming. You can see just off to the camera here, there's 5 watches that have come in today, all of which are pretty much vintage, and I'm still working out some deals on them, so we will see if these come soon, but there's a little sneak peek just off to the camera. Now, again, I just want to say a big thank you for another incredible week. You are keeping me very, very busy, which I'm super grateful for. Do forgive the tiredness in my face. Yesterday was the moving day into a new flat. Very, very happy with it, and we're currently working on a home office there, so I'm going to reduce the days in the London office we have here in Clerkenwell, but we're going to keep this office. Don't worry, this is still going to be the main point of operation. That's just going to be so I can have a day here and there working from home because I think I need it. Now, as always, in the description there is a link to every single watch you see on the table, including a timestamp to skip to me showing that particular watch. So if you're only here to see, let's say, the Speedmaster, you can go just to that one to save your time. So hopefully that helps. And if you do want to sell your watch, on our website, kibblewatches.co.uk, there's a sell section. Make sure you click on that and fill in the form. That's the easiest way to do it because I get offered watches, you know, every day, anywhere from 5 to 30 watches in a day. It really can be that many. So do it that way. It's the easiest way, because what I do is I take all that information together and then I go through at the end of the day and see what we're going to buy and what we're not going to buy. So do it that way. Now, there is a Tudor Black Bay GMT missing from this drop. We got it in and it went out before it even went live. So if you want the opportunity to be able to do that with these watches, make sure you follow in on Instagram at Kibble Watches, because we showcase early on our stories what's coming soon. So you can ask the questions, get the photos, get the price and the details, and make your decision before it even goes on the website. It's probably the most efficient way, and we sell a lot that way. So there's a lot of stuff that you don't actually see in the drops. Now, some of you may remember in the last video I said the Christopher Ward had sold, and it had. Unfortunately, it was a bit too big for the gentleman because this is the 43mm model, so we've got it back and it's in this week's drop. So go check it out on the website, and we'll talk about it because we didn't talk about it in the last video. And whilst we're on that point, let's talk about returns. So we do offer returns, as with everywhere and as with the legal guidance. You know, we obviously do that, but we also offer 3 days no questions asked return, as long as it's returned in the exact same condition it was sent in. The reason we do that, with everything going on in the world right now, obviously you can't come and view these watches, so we offer the same sort of service we possibly can to the best of our standard. Unfortunately, it does only apply to the UK just because of shipment costs and export-import fees, taxes, etc., outside of the UK. So if you're in the UK, utilize that. Just don't take the mick, you know, don't buy a watch to enjoy it over the weekend and return it, because that's just not on. Now, what is on wrist? Well, as I was moving yesterday, I didn't have this on the wrist, that's for sure, but I'm wearing my awesome Tissot that I did an unboxing and first impressions of. Still really enjoying it. It looks absolutely incredible. And I've got it on the pigskin strap, as I believe I did in a couple of the last videos. Yeah, I'm excited to sort of put more time into this watch and see how I feel after a sort of a month, and then I'll do a month review, and then hopefully after 6 months and again do a 6-month review. So without any further ado, let's get into the watches on the table. We're going to start with what is considered by some one of the most awesome Speedmasters, and what's considered by some probably the ugliest Speedmaster, but I think it's pretty cool, so let's have a look at it. What a watch to start this week with. Have a look at this awesome timepiece. This is the Omega Speedmaster Professional Moonwatch, Apollo 17 Limited Edition. And as you can see, the highlight here is that dial. It's also the thing that lets it down in some people's opinion, and it is the sort of deciding factor for people. A lot of people really love this and a lot of people really don't, and that is okay. That's sort of the beauty of watches and what we try and stock here at Kibble Watches. We don't want to stock just another Rolex Submariner, another Rolex Submariner, another basic Speedmaster. As great as those watches are, we like the weird, the unusual, the things that get your head turning and the things that get you reading that writer. We put a lot of effort in on our website, so as always with this one, definitely go read that right up. Now, as you can see, the actual Omega Speedmaster logo and the writing is on the sapphire crystal that's featured here. Really, really interesting in its design and finishing and everything like that, and it's still a normal chronograph with the caliber 1861 inside, so you're still getting all the bells and whistles you would usually have with a chronograph. Whilst granted, you can't really tell what the chronograph time is as easily, but the normal time is still just as legible in my personal opinion. Now, as mentioned, this is a limited edition watch, 1972 to match the 1972 date. Really great history on this. Definitely read the write-up as we said, because we sort of go into a lot of detail. It comes on its bracelet, and dimension wise this is the exact same as a standard moon watch, and we'll talk about that on wrist. So let's have a look. So here it is on my 6 3/4 inch wrist. I really like how the Speedmaster wears. I wasn't a big fan of it many years ago, but now I actually prefer it to the reduced, and I owned a reduced for a while because I thought that was the size I preferred, but I've got to be honest, this is the one. It's 42mm by 48mm lug to lug, 15mm thick and 20mm lugs. Really great on the wrist, very well proportioned, and this one is from August 2019. It does come with its box and paperwork. Now go check this one out. I think it won't be for everyone, as I said, but it will be for some of you guys and girls out there who like the Speedmaster but want something a little bit more different and something that not everyone is going to have ever seen. So go check it out, it won't disappoint you. From there to my next favourite watch on the table, and it might surprise some of you, it is a beautiful 14 karat white gold Elgin. Now onto this watch. This is definitely one of the most favourite watches I've had in for a long time, and one that really surprised me. I bought it in a sort of job lot of watches, and I thought initially I'd way overpaid for that job lot, but then I found this gem and it made it all the better, because what a beautiful and stunning watch. This watch is actually from 1926, so super early, nearly 100 years old, and then it can be officially called antique. Until then, it's just a very old watch. It's 14 karat white gold filled, so this case you see is 14 karat white gold filled, and as you can see, it's an Elgin. It's Art Deco, it's Tourneau in shape, and that case is the highlight here. And not only that, that crown, I'm going to put some macros on screen because I don't know how well this will capture it, but it's got the original rose finishing, which would have likely been done by hand, especially on a watch of this age. And you can see the finishing to the case. It is just superb and all original. Now that's going to come as a shock to some of you guys and girls looking at this dial, as it did to me, because on an initial look I thought it was a refinished dial and re-loomed hands and indices, because often that's what people do. But under magnification and also assessment by my watchmaker, who's much more experienced than me, and testing it and everything like that, we've determined this is an original dial, and that is original radium inside those hands and indices. So it's just a perfect example, and it makes sense when you look at the rest of the case. This clearly wasn't worn a lot in those 95 or 94 years that it's been around, and it's very clear, beautiful condition. You can see there's a slight crack in the crystal there. Unfortunately, it's not something we're going to get replaced because this is the original crystal, and we kind of want to keep that originality. And I think for those buying this watch, they're going to very much understand this isn't an everyday watch. This isn't a watch you should wear doing extreme activities. This is a fragile, vintage but beautiful watch. Now let's talk dimension. So this is where it definitely won't be for everyone, but I think if you're into vintage watches and smaller watches, this is gonna blow you away. So it's 27mm by 36mm, so really not too bad. 8mm thick and 16mm lugs. You can see we've got it paired on this nice blue leather strap, which looks great. As I said, from 1926, and it is manually wound. It's an Elgin side movement inside, and we've had it serviced. So go check it out on the website. I think it's an absolute bargain for what you're getting, but obviously I would say that as I'm selling it, but I actually really do mean it. So go check it out and make up your own mind. I don't think this one will last, and if it does, I'll be very surprised. From vintage back up to modern with a very awesome Oris. As I always say, I do absolutely love an Oris, and this is a super interesting one. I actually remember when it came out at retail, and I remember people going absolutely crazy for it, and rightfully so. It's a really interesting design, really beautifully designed, but the bracelet was the key here, because as you can see, it's a two-tone bracelet, but that is bronze, and I don't know of any other brand who had done this or have done this. I'm sure there are a few out there, and people are going to tell me down in the comments, but that is a bronze center link bracelet with a bronze bezel on the watch. I mean, how cool is that? And it's a deep blue dial with the date down there at 6, nicely placed because it's not offsetting anything, and it works very well with the 12 o'clock loom. You can see the sword hands. It's a really beautiful design, and at 40mm it is perfect. Screw down crown, nice rivet, old style rivet bracelet, and it does come with its box and paperwork, and it is from October 2019, so a very beautiful and relatively new watch. Now, as is always the case with most Orises at this kind of price point, beating away inside is the Celia SW200, a very good, very reliable movement, and one that's easily serviced, so it doesn't have to go back to Oris if you don't want it to. We've left the patina how it has patinaed in that time. We haven't done anything to it. You can clean these up. There are ways of doing it, but we've decided to leave it patinaed because I think that's the charm. And if you want to clean it and then start the patina process all over again, you can do so, but we're leaving it as is. Now let's talk dimensions, as I touched on it a little bit. It is 40mm by 48mm look to look, really beautifully proportioned and super surprising on wrist and super comfortable as well, especially that sort of rivet bracelet, which goes very, very small down to the clasp. I think it works really, really well, and it's always been a factor a lot of people love with the Oris Diver 65. Now the thickness is 13mm, very wearable again, and 20mm lugs, but as I said, it comes on this bracelet with all of its spare links, but you could pair it on an abundance of straps. I think it'd look great on most things, especially brown with the bronze and the blue. So go check it out. I don't think it will last very long, especially for the price we're asking for it. An incredibly fair price for this watch, considering its retail price. As we've just looked at one bronze watch, we may as well have a look at the other one. Let's take a look at the Christopher Ward. And here's the Christopher Ward. So as mentioned, the gentleman absolutely loved the watch. It was just a bit too big for his wrist, which I can understand. At 43mm, it's not a small watch, and it is for the slightly bigger wristed of people. There are smaller versions of this, which we're always on the lookout for, so you never know, we might get one in. But here it is. This is the bronze Christopher Ward C60 Diver in 43mm, as I said, and beating away inside here is actually the same movement inside the Oris, the Celea SW200, a very reliable, very good movement. You see steel on the back there, with the trident nice and prominent, and my camera's not focusing, there we go. And it does come with its original strap with bronze buckle, but the great thing is this is Box and Papers from 2017, and it comes with two Christopher Ward straps, both with bronze buckles, so you don't have to be swapping out the buckle. A very, very nice thing indeed. Screw down crown, really nice case design, and just overall design is great. These blue with the bronze, you know, they did follow a trend a little bit, but they did it very, very well and at a very affordable price, especially on the pre-owned market, for the price that we've got for this one. So definitely don't pass this one up. So let's show it on wrist here for reference. I have a 6 3/4 inch wrist, and you can see it's not a small watch. 43mm by 51mm lug to lug, 14mm thick and 22mm lugs. So do be aware of that when purchasing. It is not a small watch, but it wears, in my opinion, very well for the size. So I wouldn't be too put off by it, especially if you're comfortable wearing slightly bigger watches. From there to a beautifully designed watch, the Titoni. When I first saw this watch, I knew I had to have it in stock. What a beautiful design. The case reminded me of a Universal Geneve pole rotor. The design of the dial and overall finishing reminded me of an Omega Speedmaster. It's like a combination of some of the most incredible watches that you can get in the vintage world. And the dial and the logo is super cool with that rose. I think it looks absolutely sorry about that, or the police, as usual in Clerkenwell. You can see on the dial right there, there's a diamond over at 6 o'clock, which is super cute and super cool. Now this is from the 1960s, it's a Titoni Air Master, as it's called, so very cool name right there, Air Master. You can see it's got 25 jewels, and the movement beating away inside here is the ETA 2462, which is manually wound. It has a date change as well, and overall just really nice design. I like that they've put the logo on there on the case back. It's quite thick as well, as you can see, like the engraving, so it's not like going to fade away anytime soon or anything like that. But the highlight is definitely the case design as well. Beautiful twisted lugs which just taper right down. Really, really gorgeous design. And let's talk dimensions on the wrist. 34.5mm by 42mm lug to lug. Very nice for the time period at 1960s. 10.5mm thick and 18mm lugs. You can see we've got it paired on this dark brown sort of burgundy strap, which I think really suits the watch, especially with the date over there in red and a beautiful little diamond on there. Really cute and very, very nice. Perfect for him or for her. You can see the theme we do with vintage. It's all sort of quirky, a little bit interesting, and this Rado is no exception. Now for a watch that's super difficult to capture properly because of that bezel, but that is the highlight. If I try and get that angle, you can see the concave bezel, the way it spins around the dial. Super, super cool. Now this is a Rado Starliner. Again, another awesome name. I wish brands would do these kind of names more often, but really gorgeous design. Very, very nice. You can see it's got the Rado logo up there. Unfortunately, the Rado logo doesn't spin round as it would have done at one point. Really nice case back as well. That's one thing Rado don't cut no corners on in their vintage watches. Really prominent. It's got all the patents around here because this is a quarter turn lock case, so it turns sideways and then comes out and locks in, and the sort of feet grip it and lock on. It's how they used to water seal their watches, so kind of unique and slightly different, which is really cool. Now inside here is an automatic AS caliber 1700/01, again putting it from the 1960s. Really interesting design. I think that's the key to this watch right there. Nice patina to the dial, which is nice and even, and you can see the case is in good condition, especially for its age, and it is on a shorter strap, so it will come with this strap, but if you have a slightly larger wrist and this doesn't fit, there will be another strap in the pack for you to swap out to, so not a problem. Talking about sizes, that's where this one shines again, not just that bezel. I mean, there you go, you get the angle there, that's so cool. It's 36mm by 43mm lug to lug, 19mm lugs, so a little bit awkward on the lug size, but not the end of the world, and 12.5mm thick. It wears really well. It's super unique with that bezel, and again, one for the people who appreciate vintage watches. I think they're going to really enjoy this one, so go check out the photos and everything on the website. And finally, an affordable piece of fun that comes with its box and papers, this green Edox. And last but definitely not least, a super cool Edox automatic. If I can get it to focus, that would be fantastic. That all rhymed, there we go. Really cool green dial. We paired it on this really awesome shiny green leather strap, just to emphasize that green dial, because in a lot of lights it looks black, but it is green. Really cool, and it does come with its original box, as you can see, which is nice, but also its original papers right here, which are signed to 1981, if I can find where it is. There you go. October 1981. So absolutely perfect as a birth year watch, or just a watch in general, for a very fair price, especially this kind of design. It's super cool, super unique. It is a chrome case and chrome crown, but it's in good condition. There are some marks and wear where the chrome's coming off a little bit, but overall very good. Now beating away inside this watch is another ETA. It's an automatic ETA 2783, a nice reliable movement with a quick set date, which is very handy. And let's talk dimensions. So it's 34.5mm, again just like the Titoni, by 41mm lug to lug, 12.5mm thick and 18mm lugs. So whilst we put it on this very vibrant green strap, we could always put it on a different strap if you prefer, but I just thought it really pops and adds to the look. So a lot of watch for not a lot of money. So there you have it, guys and girls. That is this week's drop, another incredible drop, and I'm super excited to see which is your favorite. Let us know down in the comment section, and as always, check these watches out on the website. You can see everything there. Any questions, shoot them over. We always work on the Saturday because that's when the watches go up, so we want to get your your questions answered straight away. Do forgive any delays if I'm having a little bit of a line, because I am exhausted, so I very well may. But thank you all very much for watching. Keep safe, keep well out there. We're closing in on freedom here in the UK, so I'm really looking forward to it, as I'm sure many of you are. But keep safe, keep well, and we'll see you all next time. Take care.